Switchboard's taking your calls and he shall take your number and ring you back. The number he'll take is yours. The number you'll need to ring to get him to take it is ours, and ours is Preston 56 1000. It's alright, I thought it were at the wrong speed then, but it's not. It's that, what's the name woman? Can't remember. What a belter.
Red Rose Kitchens.
This Saturday from 9 till 12, the chart of Lancashire's favourites will be played on Lancashire's favourite station, the Red Rose Top 40 on Red Rose Radio, in association with Red Rose Kitchens of Morebrook Street, Preston, manufacturers of quality fitted kitchens and the #1 kitchen for your home. The chart is compiled by computer every week from sales throughout the Northwest. Catch the Top 40 this Saturday at 9 a.m. and discover which song's been made #1 by you.
Red Rose Kitchens, always the #1 for your home.
Oh, when the sun beats down and burns the tar up on the roof.
Eat your heart out, Bill Withers. This is how it should be done. The Drifters. Did you know that the Shadows used to be called the Drifters and had to change their name because of these fellas? What a belter. What an absolute belter. If you want to join us on the phone in, the telephone number is Preston 56 1000. We'll be talking to our callers in this order: Anne, Gary and Anthony. First of all, we have to find out what is happening in the news around the world. Not much hope of that, because all we've got to do is tune into IRN, and they never tell us nothing. Still, never mind, it kills 3 minutes.
The 11 o'clock news, this is Alan King. A Palestinian newspaper cartoonist is critically ill on a life support machine tonight after he was shot down in broad daylight in a London street. Ali Naji Awad al-Adami was hit in the head by a gunshot fired at point-blank range by a black man in a blue jacket. As the victim fell bleeding to the ground, his attacker strolled away and melted into rush-hour crowds. Mr. al-Adami was hit outside the office of a Kuwaiti newspaper opposed to Iran's Ayatollah Khomeini, and police fear he could be the victim of fanatical pro-Khomeini groups. Mr. al-Adami was rushed to Chelsea St. Stephen's Hospital, where another victim of terrorism, Iranian ex-minister Amir Parviz, is recovering from injuries inflicted when his car was blown up at the weekend. As Scotland Yard anti-terrorist detectives combed the scene tonight shooting for clues, police speculated that both men have fallen victim to the same coordinated campaign. A neighbour who heard the shots, Andre Muller, says he did his best to help the victim.
Well, I came out and looked, and there was a man lying in the street, and they said he's been shot. So I just checked his pulse, checked he was breathing, tried to stop the blood from his face, and there was blood pouring out of his mouth. And then the policeman came along, and then the ambulance came.
US officials have reacted cautiously to Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev's offer to eliminate medium-range missiles from Europe and Asia. The offer is a major concession on Russia's previous stand, which was to maintain at least some missiles. The case against a lifeguard captain accused of smuggling £500,000 worth of hashish into Sweden has been postponed at the last minute. Captain Simon Hayward was due to stand trial tomorrow after being arrested in March with the drugs hidden in a car he'd borrowed from his brother. From Sweden, Lindsay Taylor.
In a statement, police will only say the postponement's because further investigations are required to clarify the English captain's possible guilt. Ironically, it came just as Captain Hayward's mother, Hazel, was trying unsuccessfully to visit her son in solitary confinement. She says she's convinced he's innocent.
I know everything that's been going on, and I know him very well, and I'm not only speaking as a mother. I know his character extremely well, and I know him to be innocent. I believe in justice, and I know he will come home. He's not guilty.
Arriving with Mrs. Hayward today with North Hendon MP John Gorst. He believes the case against the lifeguard's captain should be dismissed. Lindsay Taylor, IRN, Sweden.
An American professor who claims he needs to smoke cannabis to counter a disease which threatens his sight is cutting short his holiday in Britain. Bob Rendell's California doctors have prescribed 10 joints a day to keep the disease glaucoma at bay. But Bob has found that the drug is illegal in Britain, so he's reluctantly heading for home.
Essentially, the Foreign Secretary has invited me to see Britain and go blind, which I don't think is a very appealing prospect.
That's what happens if you don't take marijuana. You go blind.
That's right. I will go blind slowly. I mean, I'm not going to go blind in 0.2 of a second, but over a period of days, I would certainly suffer some damage to my vision.
Independent Radio News.
Allan Beswick.
Just after 3 minutes past 11, the telephone number, if you feel like joining us, is Preston 561,000.
Red Rose, nighttime radio.
I'll do, Anne. Hello, Anne? Hello, Anne. Anne appears not to want to speak. I'll do Gary. Well, we must have some problem somewhere. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Alan.
Oh, we've got you. What can we do for you? Hello? Oh, God. Gary, can you hear me? Hello, Gary. Come in, number 27. Your time is up. We've obviously got a problem. So we'll play some ads. Why, we got a dirty great mallet to this?
Hello there. I'm just having my HGV driving lesson with North Manchester HGV. They do hourly lessons and intensive courses to put you on the right road. If you're an HGV or PSV novice, for just £30, you can have a full 2-hour assessment, including licence and medical fee. Now, if you pass with them, they'll guarantee you a job interview. So, what are you waiting for? Ring North Manchester HGV Training Centre on Bolton 23235. That's Bolton 23235.
It's just how you feel in the heat of the night. It's just how you feel when you know it's for real. It's a cake, it's a hit, it's a Coke. Coca-Cola is it.
Ian Stringer here, sales manager John Wilding's Garstang, inviting you to our Ford Open Weekend this Saturday and Sunday. We'll be displaying the Ford range, including limited model editions with styling and extras. Enjoy a glass of wine with our compliments and enter our free competition. Pick up written details on low finance selected models too. This weekend, John Wilding's on the A6 Garstang.
When you think about cars, it pays to think of John Wilding. John Wilding!
Try again. I'll do Gary. Well, I've got no else to do now. We'll play some music. Hang on a minute, I'm getting all kinds of instructions now. I'll do Anthony. Hello, Anthony. Said Blazes with it. Well, I think we've now resolved the problem. We've hit it enough. I'll do Gary.
To talk about...
we've got you. Right, Gary, we've made contact, lad. Now we can talk. What do you want?
I'd like to talk about drink, Alan. I understand that you don't really like it too much and you would like to see it banned in this country.
I would like to see it banned, but not because I don't like it, but I don't like to see what it does to lots of other people.
Yes, I agree with you. I don't drink myself and I don't encourage my friends to. But do you really think it would work on the scale of accidents, preventing them? Because in Saudi Arabia, I understand they have a ban there, and they have got quite a high accident level, I understand. And in America in 1919, I think it was when they started the prohibition.
Well, who's mentioned accidents? I don't offer accidents as being the only reason.
Accidents, you know, road accidents, things like that, caused by drink.
Well, it obviously would reduce some of them, but that isn't my reason for wanting it banned, although that is one of the things that would be beneficial.
Yeah.
My reason for wanting it banned is I don't approve of people using poisons.
Oh yeah. What do you think about the cocaine and things like that? People ring you up every night, asking you telling you why they think cocaine should be legalised.
I don't recall any such conversation. A lot of people have rung. In fact, I think it's 2 people alternating, but a number of phone calls have taken place regarding the legalisation or decriminalisation of cannabis.
Sorry, cannabis, yeah.
Well, I think exactly the same thing. I don't want people using poisons.
Yeah. It's funny to note that the majority of these people who are ringing up do happen to be Liverpudlians as well, I seem to know.
Well, as I say, as far as I'm aware, as far as I'm concerned, there are just 2 people alternating.
Just 2 people ringing up on the same time, are there? Well,
Not at the same time.
Well,
but
not at the same time, obviously.
on the same subject,
On the
yes.
same subject, yeah. But it just strikes me as funny that they always seem to be from one part of our country.
Well, I don't know why that should strike you as funny, but however you are amused.
Well, it just strikes me.
Yes, you said that.
It's peculiar.
Yes, you said.
No, I said it struck me as funny, not peculiar.
Well, I think the 2 words are fairly similar.
Well, fairly similar, that's alright, but... yeah, well, myself, I wouldn't mind seeing it banned, but only, that is drink. Also for the reasons that you have mentioned, but I'm wondering really whether it would work.
It depends on what your definition of working is.
Well, whether it would decrease the number of accidents caused by drink, for instance, drunk
Well,
driving.
it would reduce all the accidents caused by drink.
Well,
whether it would reduce the number of accidents overall, I'm not really
Well,
sure,
not
and I
overall.
don't really mind.
By drink, I mean, could it not be smuggled in through the black market? I presume that would happen.
The answer is yes, it could, and yes, it would, but it would not be generally available. How many accidents are caused by cocaine use?
I can't say I know.
No, I don't know either.
About that.
But what I do know is it's not generally available, so not many accidents are caused by it.
Yeah, there does seem to be a large number of accidents caused by drink, though. But I was
Yes,
thinking
there do.
If it was made illegal, would
Look, Gary, who in the name of heaven has told you that the reason I want drink banned is to cut down on road accidents? I've not said that. You've made that as an assumption. But don't expect me, Gary, I'm not interested in what you're withdrawing. Don't expect me to justify your stupid presumptions. I merely want people to stop using poisons, that's all.
Well, fair enough, but do you think that it would work? I mean, they wouldn't stop it, obviously, because of the black market.
A lot of them would stop it, wouldn't they?
Not if they wanted it bad enough.
Oh, of course, we're not talking about them that want it bad enough. We're not talking about blessed alcoholics. Oh, you gormless prat. We're talking about the guy that has half a bitter every night, you brainless toad. Get off. The intellect of a pig. How do, Anthony?
How do all? I'd like to talk about computer pirating. Is it illegal to copy programs but not sell them?
Yes.
It is illegal.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know why, but because it's in breach of the copyright legislation.
But I thought it was only like illegal if you copied them and sold them as copies.
No, it is actually illegal to copy them.
So is it illegal to copy records off the radio, like?
Yes.
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 Oh. Well, why don't the police follow up on these?
Because it's not that sort of crime.
What sort of crime is it?
Well, it's not a criminal offence, it's a civil offence, and someone would have to sue you for the breach of their copyright.
But nobody does.
Sometimes they do, but rarely. It's
Really?
very difficult to catch them, you see.
Well, yeah.
I don't know whether people are recording this conversation at this moment, and I doubt that you know unless you're recording it yourself.
Well, I don't know.
Well, if you don't know whether you are, you've a fat chance you've got of knowing whether anybody else is. How do, Bill?
Well, Alan,
Yes?
now you cook toast in the jungle.
I don't want to cook toast in the jungle. How do, Peter?
Hello, Alan.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to talk about crime. I was driving through Liverpool the other night, and my tyre blew up. So I parked up on the pavement, and I was fixing it, putting another wheel on, and someone got in the front stand taking the stereo out. So I said, hey, like, what?
And he said, if you're having the wheels, I'm having the stereo.
Hello there. I'm just having my HGV driving lesson with North Manchester HGV. They do hourly lessons and intensive courses to put you on the right road. If you're an HGV or PSV novice, for just £30, you can have a full 2-hour assessment, including licence and medical fee. Now, if you pass with them, they'll guarantee you a job interview. So, what are you waiting for? Ring North Manchester HGV Training Centre on Bolton 23235. That's Bolton 23235.
Come on.
Come in.
Step into Story Carpets.
Step into the big summer sale at Stories, Britain's biggest independent carpet retailer. You'll find massive reductions throughout the store, like the luxurious Autumn Glory carved Saxony broadloom carpet, reduced from £12.99 to just £6.49 a square yard. That's a fabulous half-price saving. Save over £4 a square yard on quality Wilton Royal Runnymede, an 80% wool pile carpet, now only £10.99 a square yard, fitted free. And save up to £7 on rugs. We're offering free underlay and free fitting on over 1,000 quality carpets. And with some designs reduced to just £1.75 a square yard, you won't find better value anywhere. If after buying from Stories you find the same carpet on sale at a lower all-in price, we'll refund double the difference. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find it at Stories. So step into the big summer sale this week at Cherry Tree Road, Marton, Blackpool, Darwin Street, Blackburn, and Common Garden Street, Lancaster.
Come on.
Come in.
Step into Story Carpets.
There goes another one in the 300 car challenge at Mr. Smith the Nissan Man, and another £20 to the National Children's Home.
Just what you need. What's that?
It's a new one-stop discount shop now open in Preston.
Oh, yeah. And just what do I need?
Household goods, day-to-day things and that sort of stuff.
But what about the prices?
Just how you like. Low.
How low?
Very low. Just what you need at the top of Fishergate, next to the cinema Preston, and also at Cleveley's. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's
Ian Lonsdale.
He's the Peter Pan of radio, the flying presenter, and about as aerodynamic as a melon. But he's doing it. He's really doing it.
Ian, they said, you'll be famous. Your career will really take off. You'll make a big splash, they said. And where are they sending me? The Birdman of Blackpool competition. Yes, Muggins is going to jump off the North Pier on the 9th of August, but I haven't got a costume, so I want you to design one. A drawing will do, which we'll have made up. The judges are looking for originality, but I can tell you I'm looking for a certain amount of airworthiness. First prize is £50 of tickets to the Blackpool shows, and second prize is £25 of tickets, donated by First Leisure Corporation. So get scribbling and send your designs to me, Ian Lonsdale, Red Rose Radio, St Paul Square, Preston. Closing date for entries the 24th of this month.
I'll do Naeem.
Hello.
Hello, Naeem.
Yes, did you watch the Grand Prix last Sunday?
No.
Well, I was thinking that it's not really a fair race, is it?
Why not?
Well, because you know the two Williams Honda cars? They've got more power than the others.
But there are limitations as to how much power and the like the companies that make these cars can put into the car.
Yeah. Well, I know that.
They have developed their engine into such a way as to produce a greater brake horsepower.
Yeah, well, the Honda, they've got a greater brake horsepower, and so if nothing goes wrong with them, they're going to win, like the one at Silverstone.
But one of the elements of the competition is the manufacture of the vehicle, the creation of the vehicle.
Yeah,
so
but it's like... Go on.
It isn't purely a test of driving. It is a test of driving. It is a test of reliability of the motor vehicle. It is a test of the tyres on the motor vehicle. It is a test of the performance of the motor vehicle.
Yeah, which is the most important, the engine.
Well, no, it isn't the most important.
Well, it's one of the most important. All right, just say you've got a Ferrari and I've got a Mini.
Yes.
In a race, who's going to win?
That rather depends on your driving capability. If you had a Ferrari on the Silverstone course and you were racing against Nigel Mansell in a Mini, there's a reasonable chance that he will win.
Oh, I doubt it, though.
But you'll probably be dead because you don't know how to drive that vehicle. When I say don't know how to drive it, I mean safely.
Yeah, but they can also adjust the turbo boost on them. So when they're overtaking the
They
cars...
can do all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, the overall race is a test of a number of things, not just the engine. Otherwise, we need never have the race at all. We can just measure the brake horsepower, say, you win, you've got a 27, the other guy's got 26, you win. Save all that clowning around, driving and flying all over the world.
But if nothing went wrong with Mansell's car or PK's car, they're going to win.
That is not necessarily the case. They may well make a mistake in their driving. It has been known.
Yeah.
Indeed, people have been known to crash. The graveyards are full of people who drove perfect cars. So it is a competition of a whole collection of things.
But you would say
You may
that-
well have the fastest car, as indeed was the case when James Hunt won. Somebody else had the fastest car. The old one-eared kraut. What's his name? I can't remember his name, but the fellow that got his ears burnt off.
Yeah,
What is his name?
Nicky Lauda.
Nicky Lauda, that's him. Well, in that race, Nicky Lauda had the better car. He was clearly the better driver, but James Hunt won. Why? Because the
He's a better
pit...
driver.
No, the pit team decided to change James Hunt's tyres for wet weather tyres.
Yeah.
And then it slashed it down. So the weather affected that race. Well, it's not fair either, is it? So there are many things that affect the race. How do... Chris?
How do, Alan? I like to talk about angling and say it's not cruel.
Then say so.
Because the fish, he has a choice whether he wants to take that worm, doesn't he?
No.
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 Well, if the fish is hungry, he'll take it, won't he? We're not saying
So
you take
he
this
doesn't.
hook.
He doesn't have a choice at all, because he's not got the intellect to choose. He doesn't make such decisions.
So you're saying fish are stupid, are you?
Oh, very clearly.
Well, on the subject of cruelty, you tend to give analogies that it's cruel. The cruelty of us dragging fish across the river is equal to the cruelty of us dragging somebody across the river by the fingernails and saying that's cruel. Well, surely we're not talking
No,
about...
that is not the analogy I give to define how cruel it is, but people say to me often that fishing is not cruel because the fish cannot feel pain in their mouths. And my comment is, you cannot feel it in your fingernail, but if you pull one off, it still hurts. That's all.
Well, how would you say about if we took that analogy to somebody getting dragged across the water without skis on? Would you say that hurts?
To be honest, I think it does hurt, but those who are making the decision to be dragged across the water without their skis make the decision in the knowledge that it might hurt. If you wish a demonstration of it, I suggest you go up to Lake Windermere and watch the Aquamasters perform their death-defying feats on water.
Do you like
without
eating
skis.
fish?
Yes.
Well, don't you think by eating fish you're agreeing with the way they're caught? Or would you say...
I'm not agreeing with the way they caught, but I am saying that cruelty is a necessary part of life, necessary if we are to maintain our omnivorous status. So I am perfectly prepared for cruelty in search of food. I am not prepared for cruelty in search of pleasure, sport, you like to call it.
Yeah, I suppose you could call it that, but don't you think that people who catch fish, they put the fish back, yet also they do stock up rivers again, don't
That
they?
really doesn't
Rivers
matter.
where there haven't been fish.
If you stock up a river with 1 million fish, you're still being cruel to the ones that you get on your hook and drag across the river.
Yeah, but if you say we shove in a river full of 1 million fish, wouldn't you say that by shoving 1 million fish you've got to take some out because it's going to be overcrowded?
Well, the simple answer there is don't put so many in, isn't it? If you're only doing it for the ecology, then I suggest don't put so many in. I mean, it seems silly to me to put too many in so that you can enjoy the cruel pleasure of taking a few out.
I think we're moving a bit away from the point.
I'm not directing this conversation. I am responding to your questions.
Yeah. Well, moving back to the do you like fish or not? How about the way fish are caught in nets? Would you say that's cruel?
I think it is exceptionally cruel.
But don't you think there's a clear difference between angling and catching fish using big nets?
As regards the process by which the objective is attained, yes. As regards the degree of cruelty, possibly. But that doesn't matter.
So in your mind, there clearly is a difference, isn't there? You're saying...
of course there's a difference.
It is, you know...
Of course there's a difference.
I know there is.
Well, I wouldn't attempt to argue that there wasn't a difference. You define two types of fishing, and then you seem surprised that I agree that there are two types of fishing.
There are two. But
yes, of course
but
there are.
what you did say was that there's two different types of cruelty, so you're saying?
No, I didn't. I said degrees of cruelty.
Well, don't you think that's a bit... Anyway,
Well,
what I was saying is, if there's two different degrees of cruelty, don't you think the benefits of angling...
There are none.
Well,
There are none.
I've just mentioned one about
Name
stocking up
it.
the river.
That is not a benefit to any individual fish. It may be a benefit to the ecology, but the fish itself does not benefit. Fish number 39746 has no benefit if you give it another 1,000 companions,
But-
except it might get its oats every now
Yeah,
and then.
I know that.
But fish number 39476 suffers when you catch it on one of your hooks. And the fact that you are doing that as your dubious reward for giving it someone to sleep with, I'm sorry, it's not enough.
But don't you think what... Well,
I've told you what I think.
I know, moving on from that, wouldn't you say that... how would you classify then a river where the species has, died out?
I would think it
And
is.
we would
I
put
would think
back-
it is very, very sad. But I'm sorry, I don't think we should maintain species just so that you can abuse them.
Well, how are we abusing them if we're putting them back?
You're not abusing them. If I decide to hold you underwater and then let you out again, have I not abused you because I've let you out? Do I have to kill you in order to abuse you? Or can a kick in the crutch do it? I mean, if I kick you in the crutch but then take my foot away, do you feel better or worse? Well, answer the question. I've answered all yours. Are you benefiting from the removal of my foot, or are you more concerned with the two great aching eggs you've got after the kick in the crutch? Which is it?
Well,
Which do you...
I would say I'm not benefiting by either.
So when I take my foot away, you don't think, well, thank heaven he's took his foot away. So the fact that you throw them back really doesn't matter. It is what you do to get them in a position to throw them back that is cruel.
But don't you think you're painting a picture like we're harpooning the damn things?
I'm not painting any picture. I have used the phrase on the hook. Now, I don't know how anyone, other than apparently you, can take that to mean harpoon.
I mean...
In honesty, I see no realistic difference. What I want you to attempt to do, indeed what you want to attempt to do yourself, is to convince me that he's not cruel. All you've done so far is convince me that eating fish means that others will be cruel on my behalf. You have convinced me that you put them back after you've been cruel to them, or after you've done whatever you do to them. You have convinced me that you help create or help maintain a species. What you have not yet succeeded in doing, or in my view even attempted to do, is to convince me that your act of angling is not cruel. Would you like to try?
It's not cruel.
Yes, I'm asking you to convince me. Saying so really doesn't do so.
That's very true, Alan.
Yes, so convince me. I'm all ears. I wait here with bated breath for your attempt. Let us hear it. I have answered a series of questions, some of them misleading, some of them loaded, all of them leading off at tangents, and still we've got no further. I ask you, please, now, on behalf of the millions of anglers in our community, to convince me that angling is not cruel. Convince me. It is your ball game.
to convince you, I would say that moving back to the first argument...
Don't go anywhere. Just convince me that when that hook goes through that fish's mouth and you drag it across the river and you pull it out of the river and you take the hook out of it and you keep it captive in a net in water for a while and then when you're fed up, you let it go. You convince me that that process is not cruel to the fish. Please convince me. I don't want to believe that my father and millions of others are being cruel. Please convince me.
We're not moving anything. We're not taking out of the fish, are we? We're not taking anything
When
out
I
of the fish.
kick you in the rocks, you don't say, "Hey, they fell off!" You say, "Oh, Christ!" Convince me. Please convince me.
Well,
Like I said, Chris, you've had plenty of chance. Fishing, Chris, is, on your failure to convince me, cruel. Good night.
But we...
You have been Beswicked.
If you're concerned, Chris, you may like to know that you were Beswicked on the 22nd of July, 1987, at 23:31 hours.
Win £50, £20, £15 each week at the Newmarket and M2 Market, Waterloo Road, Blackpool.
There again, you may just wish to forget it.
The Munich Beer Festival is famous throughout the world for everyone to have a good time. There's more barrels than at the OK Corral, and departure dates are the 17th or the 24th of September or the 1st of October. You'll stay at the classy Gasthof Zillertollenstrasse, if we can drag you away from the bar, that is. And the cost, half board, is just £99. But make sure you ring Avalon Travel today, because this is on a first-come, first-served basis. Get it? Avalon Travel, phone Bolton, 398788.
Every Thursday is Over 30s night at the Illawalla Country Club, the Fyld's most sophisticated night spot. You don't have to be a member. Just come over this Thursday and pay only £1 admission between 9 and 11 to dance to your favourite oldies from the 60s and 70s. That's the Over 30s night at the Illawalla this Thursday at Skippel Road, Poulton-le-Fylde.
How do, Gary?
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
Can you tell me if the date at witness is confirmed yet, please?
No, I can't.
Can you tell me how much the tickets will be?
No, I can't.
If you have an idea when it will be confirmed?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
That was interesting, wasn't it?
Was a bit, wasn't it?
I will announce as soon as I know.
Can I give you a little puzzle then?
No. How do Simon?
Hello, Alan.
Yeah.
I'm ringing about the fellow who was on a couple of minutes ago talking about booze being banned in Britain. What's your idea of booze?
Alcoholic beverage for which one requires a license to purvey.
So, you're saying that the old Christmas drink, wine or champagne at Christmas, it'd be alright even if we banned that?
Yes.
So you're saying that you don't have a drink of wine on Christmas Day?
I'm saying that I would be prepared to do without that very occasional drink of alcohol that I take.
Okay then.
Good night. How do, Jeff?
How do, Alan? I'd like to talk about the superpowers.
Are you going to?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, I was wondering if you could settle an argument between me and my mate. Because he thinks Russia's the more powerful, and I think America is.
Depends on what you define as power.
Well, America's got this special defence thing, the Star Wars thing. But Russia haven't.
Well, America hasn't got Star Wars.
They haven't.
No.
I thought they haven't.
Well, you thought wrong. It doesn't exist yet.
What, they're building it, you mean?
They are
experimenting.
They are experimenting at the moment, but they've not yet commenced its building.
Oh. Well, I was just wondering which is the more powerful at the moment.
It depends on what you define as power.
Well, army-wise. Military-wise.
Military-wise, I wouldn't know who was the most powerful. Certainly the Russians have the greatest number of forces, both conventional and nuclear, but that doesn't mean they're the most powerful. For example, the distribution of their forces is such that they would have difficulty in attacking America, but America has Russia almost surrounded with forces of one sort and another. So the fact that the Russians have the ability to annihilate Europe doesn't really give them much of a leeway to annihilate America. And given that America has the ability to annihilate Russia, then I would say that on the balance of probabilities, America would be seen as the most powerful, but Russia would have the most nuclear warheads.
Oh, well, which one's the most powerful economical-wise?
In economics, very definitely America. Having said that, America's financial control as a nation, rather than as a series of business persons, is not as great as they would have us believe. The financial influence of the state of America is not as great as they like to think it is. However, the American nation collectively, if you like, is still the largest trading nation in the world, and therefore weighs a great deal of power, considerably greater than Russia, whatever the status quo.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
How educational for you. How do, Paul?
Hello, Alan.
Hello.
I'd just like to talk about glasnost and the way the Russians are trying to pull the wool over our eyes by their policy of glasnost. I believe that unless they start treating their own citizens better and allowing the people they've locked up for no other reason than preaching the gospel in the Soviet Union to go free, then they can't try and tell us how we should do things.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't think the Russians are attempting to tell us how to do things. They're simply saying at the moment that they have reduced the policies that lock up the people you describe, and indeed have released some of them.
They've released 120
Yes.
political prisoners.
Yes.
And there's over 227 Christians still locked up.
Yes, there
in
are,
the
but
Soviet
the
Union
fact
just
that well, how many were locked up before?
Christians.
Yes.
263.
And how many are locked up now?
227.
So that is some progress, is it not?
It's a very small amount of progress.
It's a simple question. Is it progress or is it not?
Yes,
Yes, it is progress.
it's
It is a
putting
small.
on-
It
it's
is a
putting on a
small amount.
facade
It
for
is
the
a
West.
small amount of progress, but progress it is.
Yeah, but
are we to ridicule that progress, or are we to encourage that progress? Which?
It depends whether it's real progress or not.
Well, it is clearly real progress.
It's not. It could merely be a facade to get what the
If
Russians
it is,
want.
well,
I mean,
whether it's a facade or not isn't really important as in response to the question, do we encourage it or do we ridicule it? If we ridicule it, we are clearly not going to get any further. They are not going to release any more. If they do not get the rewards they seek, whatever they might be, for releasing those prisoners, they're not going to release any more. So is it not a good idea for the West to say, well done, Ruskies, smart us out, that's grand. Why don't you do some more? So are we to encourage it, or are we to ridicule it?
I think we've got to look into it more deeply.
So you're prepared to have the Russian state wait our response while we study it from afar?
Well, obviously we've got.
Are we around?
We've got to study it from afar.
But in the meantime, what do? Can't we just simply say, look, well done, what you have done, for whatever motive, what you have done is right? Or are you going to suggest that at some stage, somewhere in 10 years' time, 2 years' time, a fortnight's time, are you going to suggest that we say to the Russians, what you have done is wrong?
No, what you've done is not enough.
Well, in order to encourage them to do more, should we not immediately say, well done? Well done. Whatever their motives, well done. The action you have taken is the right action. Do you not think that would go some way to encouraging them to take that right action again? Or do you think we should say, well, smart as out, who gives a monkey's cuss, pal? Let's find out why you're doing it. Because if that is the reaction, they're not going to do any more, are they? They're going to say, well, why the hell should we bother?
But you see, the thing is...
Well, you see, it's no good avoiding the question. If you don't like the question, say so, and then we'll ignore it. But the problem with that is, we'll then know why you don't like it.
Uh-huh.
And it's because you're getting a stuffing. So, do you think we should say to the Russians, well done, and hopefully, how about doing some more? Or should we say, we don't know whether what you've done's right or wrong yet, because we've got to study it. Which do you think is the most likely to be productive?
I think the first of the two options.
So do I.
You have been Beswicked.